welcome and congratulations if you've made it this far. A lot of people don't ever make it this far because a lot of people will never have the courage to admit that they were wrong in the first place. What a freeing thing that is, though. That old phrase, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy, really should be, would you rather be right or would you rather have the truth? Most people pick being right, by the way. Feels so good. Not as good as the truth does, though. And if you know what I mean and you've made it past the first 30 seconds of this video, I want to give you something that I think will really help. This helped me. I wish I would have had this sooner on my spiritual journey and my path. Christianity is just one of many paths. You almost don't even want to see it as one of the paths coming out of it because you get so angry because you're like, I cannot believe they told me that this was the only way to get to the thing. I've reduced this down to 3 things that I do. 3 things that I was really looking for, and the 3 things that I do now that keep me grounded and afloat spiritually and not up the creek without a paddle or in the middle of the ocean without an oar or something like that, you know? These 3 things keep me pointed and directed, and it helps me to remember. Before we get into that, a lot of what can happen to it, and what you want to be careful of in your deconstruction journey is you're journeying out, right? You're like, I don't think this whole Christian thing is right, or maybe for you it's another viewpoint, right? Because we want to become less dogmatic, right? We want to be more open. That's the key. That's the trick to life. The more open we can become, the more we can let in. The more we can let in, the more we can have. And the more we can have and hold, the more we can be. And so you're journeying away from the shore saying, goodbye Christianity, goodbye whatever it is. And you go so far and then you see how little the island that you left really was and how great the sea beyond is. And you start thinking to yourself, okay, maybe I'm not really ready to leave yet. And so you go back to your Christian island and you say, there really wasn't anything out there anyways, right? It was just a big ocean of nothingness. This is where it really is. This is the only place there is. When if you would have just kept going, there's many, many different places for you to have journeys and adventures. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of the path after Christianity, I want to talk about the category of what the 3 things are. So yeah, life is kind of like a course, or it's kind of like a class where you'll have a text, right? You'll have a text, maybe you'll have a workbook, but we'll just combine it into one right now. We'll do text. And then you have a practice or a practical application. And then you always will want to remember your why for the reason that you're doing it, right? What is it helping you to even do in the first place, right? Why are you taking that course? To help you with what? To help you do what? What does it matter? Because if you can't tell me why I need to take a specific class, I'm not going to waste my time doing that, you know? So let's get into what our text is. Then we'll talk about the practice, and then we're going to talk about the why. The why will be last. It'll be the most important thing. All right, but the first thing is this right here. Course in Miracles. This is going to be the new text for me, right? This has helped me with so much. What it does is confirm a lot of what is already within Christianity, but it also helps you to understand and recontextualize what is really supposed to be meant. It goes into what I believe are the teachings of Jesus much, much, much more deeply. You basically get a mixture of psychology and spirituality in here, which is really helpful, right? Because ego is brought up a lot in spirituality. And we're like, well, what does that mean? What is that? What is that? Is there a difference between the ego from a psychological perspective and the ego from a spiritual perspective? Right? What do I do about that? Is the ego good or is the ego bad? Is it something that I can do anything about? And all of those questions are answered here. But you get a lot of value out of this, right? Because think about this. How many words existed in the time of Jesus? How many words existed in the time of Shakespeare? And how many words exist now today? It's crazy to even think about, right? We know from the time of Shakespeare to today, there are hundreds of thousands of more words and terms than there were in Shakespeare's era, at least, right? And so if you go back to the era of Jesus, there were probably less than there were in the times of Shakespeare. We didn't have an understanding or a word to use or say for everything. That's why the stories are so cryptic, right? The stories in the parables that Jesus used, right? it's all to point to something that there aren't words to say, right? We will be forever coming up with new words to describe what the true heart of spirituality and religion is trying to point to, right? But this, to me, in my mind, if you come from a Christian background, it does the best job of doing that. I had started streaming the readings of this, but I stopped doing that and I took them down. I took it down because I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that. If you would join me in doing that, maybe I'll start back up again. Just comment ACIM down there and we'll get going on that if we get quite a few people commenting that. Okay, so there's your text for the course, right? Or for the class. Course in Miracles, by the way, also does have a workbook, right? So you got your text, right? The Bible doesn't have a workbook. So you got your text there, right? You got our Course in Miracles. So what is our practice going to be, right? Well, the practice is going to be something that is extremely simple. I complicated it for a long time. The practice is just meditation, but let's talk about that, right? Because there's some nuance to that. Meditation helps you to let go of your thoughts, right? Because you need to unstick yourself from everything that you've gathered up. All the thoughts, all the fears, all the emotions, all of the things that come up in the middle of the night that keep you from going to sleep. We need to begin to be able to let those things go. I generally will meditate when I have time to do it at a random moment during the middle of the day. Like I'll be at work on break and I will meditate for 15 or so minutes, 10, 5 minutes even. Sometimes during the beginning of the day, right? Sometimes in the evening if I don't get off late, and that's it. That's it. I find structuring meditation sort of, for me, defeats the purpose of meditation. Because essentially what happens is you're saying, okay, I am being aware and I'm going to pinhole that into one section of my day and my life. And that's all that it's going to be for, right? Any great spiritual teacher, and you can come to this realization or insight to yourself, but you want to be carrying your meditation out through the entire day. And those moments where you sit down to specifically meditate, you can supercharge there, right? But you want to be carrying that awareness and that ability to sort of let go throughout the day. So we'll move on from meditation. And the third thing, and the most important thing, is as long as you're willing to let go and go with the flow, the God or the universe or the underlying energy that supports this reality will carry you through. This is what it means to trust in God. In the Tao Te Ching, or I think it is, they say that Wu Wei, right? Essentially kind of going with the flow, this non-resistant attitude. And I think there's a really big misunderstanding of what this means in the spiritual community, especially when Christians come and try to tell you what another religion is talking about, when they don't even know what their own religion is trying to tell them. Right? But this whole idea that you are taken care of, if you just stop resisting, you go with the flow of life, stop listening to the fear, stop doing things out of fear, right? Stop not doing things out of fear. This is what the meditation and the textbook help us to be able to tap into, is our ability to surf that wave. That's all we're trying to do while we're here, is surf that wave. Surrender to the will of God is essentially another way of saying this. Because we have the will of the ego when we try to force things. I want to get this and I want to have that, and so I'm going to do it this way and I'm going to go about that way and I'm going to visualize this and I'm going to, do all the blah, 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 right? That is me. That was me trying to force. But when we surrender and let go of the fear and we just enter into the present moment and we ask, what am I supposed to do in this moment now? How do I serve in this moment now? That is what it's all for. That is the why. Because watch how much your life improves when you get good at surfing this wave, right? We're all just learning to ride the wave, right? That's all we're trying to do. And some people are better at surfing than others, right? And there's no judgment to those people that haven't quite learned to surf yet, right? But man, once you catch the wave, life becomes so good. Things start falling into place. Synchronicities start happening. Things just start to become so fun. And that's exactly what happens when you surf, right? You're like, wow, this is so amazing. I'm literally riding this water energy, You know, it's crazy. Learning to ride and surf the wave of life. Wu wei, that shit. Surrender to the will of God. Let go. Let go of that babbly, babble, boop, bop, beep, bop, voice inside of your head that says, but what if, but they don't, but you can't, you're not getting, just all that BS. Let it go. Use your meditation practice to feel what is inside of you, right? To turn your awareness inwards, see and ask, what am I really being asked to do? Notice that it's not a question, it's not a thing, it's not a voice that'll come into your head. To me, it always feels more like a force of magnetism, being pulled in a certain direction, right? And if you actually let go, things will happen you will do things without even thinking about it. Really wacky experiences of doing that, by the way, of having those things happen to me. Maybe we can talk about those stories later, but those are the 3 things. I hope that helps, because we don't want to go back to the island. We don't want to go back to that island. No one likes that island. Let go, meditate, practice your awareness, and look into the Course in Miracles. You might like it. It's all for me today.